Hey there! It's been a while again since the last video. Unfortunately, we started to watching Star Trek: The Next Generation, and it's really hard to stop watching the series. So I hope when we will finish it, everything will go back to normal, and again we will make videos on daily basis. Now there's nothing more important than watching another episode of the Star Trek. Sorry. So in this video I want to talk about Kickstarter. In this year we had a lot of big titles like Massive Darkness, like Ankh, Darkest Dungeon, or Frosthaven. And I don't want to talk about these games. I want to talk about those hidden gems which were on a Kickstarter, but without that gigantic buzz. And those 5 games I want to show you just stole our hearts, and I think they deserve to be known by everyone. I think all those games which I will show you in this video are have still open pledge managers, so if you will get interested in them, just check it. One more important thing, the games I will show you are not in specific order, that's a random order, so don't be suggested in any way that something is first and something is last. It was too difficult for me to arrange them in any order. The first game I want to show you is Uprising, Curse of the Last Emperor by Nemesis Games. It's a fully cooperative 4X fantasy board game for 1 to 4 players set in a post-apocalyptic world. We played it on the Tabletopia simulator and also with the prototype. For the first time we saw the game on Essenspiel in 2019, but the booth was so crowded we didn't manage to check it out. So in short, the story is about the last 3 factions fighting for freedom, with the Mad Empire and endless waves of undead hordes of chaos. All that placed on ice-covered Isles of Azul, last remaining pockets of civilizations. Players take turns to fight monsters, explore new tiles of land, build havens, recruit soldiers, finish quests, and get new items for heroes. I guarantee you, there is a lot of going on the table, and the game perfectly simulates the feeling of being constantly under the pressure of much stronger enemies. What is amazing, that the authors included a lot of reminders and tips with rules on all components, so you can focus on a game and you will not forget any rule for sure. So what do we get in the box? Asymmetric everything. Every faction, every hero, every enemy is different, with a unique set of skills. Stacks of cards with quests, items, different druids that influence the game board. Those cool miniatures of garrisons, of havens, which can be stacked, upgraded and modified. There is also expansion with extra enemies and another factions. Only one single detail could make this game even better: miniatures. And that's surprising. I think that game is just spectacular in terms of how it looks on the table and how it forces you to think and plan every single move. There's a lot of dice in the game, but don't be worried. The game has mechanics which allows us to manage bad rolls, and it's not only about luck. I really encourage you to check the Uprising on Tabletop Simulator. Everything you need is on their Kickstarter page. The next title is Freedom 5 from Arcane Wonders, a cooperative comic book adventure game created by award-winning designers Richard Lanius and the Sadler brothers. This one is also on a Tabletop Simulator and Tabletopia. Freedom 5 is an adventure game where players are heroes fighting with masterminds and their army of bad guys. We have a stereotypical ladder of evil with a mastermind on the top, his, let's say, lieutenants, who are leaders of the henchmen, spread around the city. All of that placed in the megalopolis. So of course we can't get the mastermind if we will not defeat all his sidekicks and put an end to their schemes. Meanwhile, we have to rescue bystanders and protect Megalopolis from waves of henchmen. I love how this game works and looks. We have all those stereotypical superhero motifs in one place, and we all know those motifs. For me, what is super important that it's not Marvel or DC. I love it so much that we have a superhero themed game, and it's not again Thanos and the Infinity Stones and all other motifs, which are a little bit overexploited lately. So in a box we will get loads of content, beautiful minis which can be pre-painted, cards, campaign book which allows us to upgrade our heroes, and so on. Unfortunately, they didn't reach the final stretch goal, which was some badass Godzilla. I hope it will be added as an optional buy or something like that. So that's the Freedom 5. I recommend it with all my heart. If I can compare this game to something, I would say it's another version of Arkham Horror. Like we have similar mechanics, we have heroes, we have dice, we have monsters. In Arkham Horror, here we have henchmen and villains. So those two games are from the same genre, but placed in a different theme. The next one is Perseverance from Mindclash Games. I am a fan of worker placement games, and Mindclash Games made one of the best ones, Anachrony and Tricarion. And of course, Cerebria, which is not a worker placement game, more likely totally twisted area control, also amazing. So what's Perseverance? It's actually two standalone games in one. Can be played separately, can be played as a campaign. Perseverance tells the story of cruise ship which crashed on a dinosaur island. So survivors have to arm themselves, build a safe space, counterattack the attacks of the dinosaurs, and well, survive. I am obsessed with how games by Mindclash Games are thematic and how every single action we can take is merged into the theme of the game. We are not doing abstract actions disconnected from the game. So in episode 1 we are building our safe place. Episode 2 takes place sometime later. Our beach is safe and guarded, so we are going to explore the inlands. Of course, both episodes are similar to each other in terms of core mechanics, but in general we have two different games. We played both episodes in one evening, and of course it takes a lot of time, but it's really engaging and pure fun. What is also unique that we have real interactions between players. In typical worker placement games, everyone is playing alone. Not here. Here we can influence the strategy of our opponents in a more drastic way, not just by taking action spaces. What I love about games from Mindclash Games that their games are simply a piece of art. How boards look like, how every element is polished and well designed is just unique. For me, board games are a type of visual art, and Perseverance is simply beautiful. Perseverance is also on the Tabletopia, so if you like worker placement games, I think that title is a must. Novaetas Renaissance from Ludus Magnus Studio. Novaetas is another piece of art. This time I want to show you a story-driven RPG game placed in Renaissance Italy with a twist. So alongside humans we have monsters, cyclops, fauns and so on. Novaetas is a tactical game where players take control over heroes who are on a quest of I don't know what, because it's a story-driven game. The Novaetas gives us a feeling of Final Fantasy Tactics, the very old game which takes a special place in our hearts. And why? We have a similar art style. We have character classes that can be changed during the game. We have horologium, or whatever, a mechanic that determines turn order based on how advanced and powerful action we take. Novaetas also brings something new and fresh, an emerging trend in board games. 3D elements, buildings, trees, bushes and so on. I can't say how amazing that looks like and how immersive that is. We only played the demo scenario included in the prototype, and that was a fantastic adventure. What is cool that Ludus Magnus Studio always makes nice collaborations. So in Novaetas campaign we get also elements for Black Rose Wars, a game about battling mages, or Arachne, a monster from Tanare's Adventures. I can't say more about Novaetas because I didn't see much. Novaetas is a very promising game with an innovative approach and engaging gameplay. And the last game, The Thing by Pendragon Games. The game emulates events from legendary movie by John Carpenter. That classic horror is the perfect setting for the game with hidden roles mechanics. So players take roles of the members of the expedition to Antarctica, and one of them is the Thing. We played 6-player game, and that was just an amazing experience. We all saw how our trust in other members slowly started to vanish when another and another sabotage happened in our base. Rules of the game are crazy easy, and most of the gameplay is over the table, where every player tries to convince others that he or she is not an alien. The proof that the game is amazing is the next day everyone was still thinking and talking about the game. And if you go through the whole campaign, you will see how many upgrades they unlocked. We have minis of researchers and aliens, plastic upgrades of tokens, new game variants, and even expansion based on a thing from 2011. And that's it, that's our games. As I mentioned before, all those games still should have open pledge managers, so if you are interested in any of those games, please just check it. We played all of those games, and our opinion is purely on our experience with those games. Every game is from completely different categories, so we have Euro game, we have adventure game, story-driven game, and so on. So I think everyone should find something interesting. And that's it. I again recommend you to check their Kickstarter campaign pages, because I think they're worth at least looking at them. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video.